Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back as we're going to discuss the Leo full moon happening on February 12th, 2025 at 8:53 a.m. That's Eastern Time. So be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. The intensity, shocks, changes, and wild disruptions will not stop anytime soon as we look at the energy of the Leo full moon. We have the moon at 24 degrees of Leo. This is the point to identify in your chart, as this is where the moon is full and bright, illuminating an area of self-awareness, personal understanding, tapping into what you want, what you desire, and also perhaps reigniting a part of yourself that maybe has been closed down or shut off. And that's because the Leo energy is connected with the self, solar plexus, what you want to create, how you feel powerful. And so this moon is coming through and reconnecting you with perhaps parts of yourself that you've been detached from, especially with all of the big energy in the opposite sign of Aquarius. So we have the Sun at 24 degrees of Aquarius, conjunct Mercury at 26 degrees of Aquarius, and of course Pluto is over here in Aquarius as well. So the Aquarius sections of your chart is where we've all been externally focused on world events, changes, what is happening, what is shifting every hour, every day. And so this full moon is actually asking you to come back into yourself, come back into where you feel personally fueled, empowered, where you can connect with your own internal spark of life. This is a balancing energy that brings you back to what you can do, what you can control, where you can put your energy that feels correct for you. This can be very life-giving, inspiring, and motivational here. And that would be one of the best ways to work with the Leo full moon, is that with everything happening in the Aquarius sections of our charts, which is about what we are experiencing as a group, humanity, what is happening that we're all talking about, thinking about, contemplating. Essentially, the energy is pulled away from the solar plexus, and this would be a time to look at where you can practice greater balance right now. Greater balance. The Leo energy also, it wants play, fun, joy. Have you been disconnected from those parts of yourself? This would be the time to look at what would light you up and give you fresh inspiration. Now with Mercury here, Mercury of course is strong in Aquarius, the thinker, planner, mind, higher mind, streaming in with the higher consciousness of Aquarius and asking us to look at things in a new light, in a new way, new perceptions, think it through, and perhaps even feeling that your mind is in one energy field and your heart and your emotional body is in another. During this full moon, you could certainly feel a split between what you want and what feels good, and then what your mind is considering and even expecting. And this is where you could say one thing and feel another. You could be over-rationalizing a passion. You could be overthinking or perhaps disconnected from what you really want because you're not sure how to get there. So if these are themes for you, this Leo full moon is going to accentuate them and make them perhaps even bigger, but with the intention of bringing you back, again, to what you can control, what you can do, what connects to your own personal life force. Now, within this mix, we have a dynamic T-square as this Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus, now direct and hanging out at 23 degrees, is making a T-square to both the moon, the sun, and Mercury. This is a fixed T-square as they're all in fixed signs. And the fixed signs here, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, are the energies of stability. It's where we look for reliable developments, our routines, what we want to expect, where we often resist change. But with Uranus still moving through Taurus here, our foundations are being, I was going to say dismantled, yes, but they're really being shaken up, perhaps dismantled, challenged. And at this time, it feels more personal to the moon. The moon is the personal energy, the sense of self, what you're feeling internally. And this can be very jarring developments that arrive during the full moon that affect what you want. Now, both these energies are highly creative, Taurus and Leo. And this, I feel, is Uranus triggering a new creation, or rather a recreation of what you had anticipated, expected, or thought, what the fixed energies have relied upon. This is a recreating of what you want, but working with higher frequencies, as that is what Uranus taps us into. What we didn't consider, what we didn't see, what we didn't realize. It breaks down our own walls. It breaks down our own boundaries. It shows us, that there's more here outside the box, outside of the comfort zone. And so here we have Uranus triggering the moon, which can open up more Leo creative expressions. It can also challenge confidence. And then this energy of Uranus in Taurus squaring Mercury, the mind, the thoughts, what was being figured out or what was being planned for the future. The exact square actually happens right before the full moon on the 12th, February 12th, but it's in play for most of the week. And so these would be the shocking developments and announcements, revelations. This is where Uranus brings to light the fuller story. It shifts the trajectory and the direction in Aquarius, leading to new outcomes, new solutions, new future potentials. And then Uranus squaring the sun at 24 degrees of Aquarius is a big amplification of change at a vast level of consciousness. And that is the sun with all of its light, power, and warmth is receiving the jarring developments of the cosmos, affecting our stability, perhaps affecting Earth. Earth movements here are amplified when Uranus squares or interacts with the sun. Financial energies are heightened, financial markets, economic changes with that focus from the sun as well. This is also highly creative energy here, that Taurus and Aquarius connection, which is about finding new solutions with what has presented itself. And that's because of how Taurus, being an earth sign, will bring up the evidence in Uranus, the shocking evidence, the unexpected facts, the documents, the list, the proof. That's what the earth signs do, is they will reveal what needs to be seen. And so here, with the strong focus on Aquarius, there's information, communications, plans, developments that come to light, perhaps very uncomfortable, because Uranus is not about the comfort zone at all. Uranus is about this is what you need to see, and this is what you need to know. So with all of these energies here, this T-square and the fixed signs, the missing fixed sign is Scorpio. And when there is the missing sign, the energy goes towards that direction. So think of this T-square. It looks like a bow, from a bow and arrow. And then the energy pings out. There's a pressure point here with these squares. The square is going to Uranus. Then Uranus releases. Think of it as the arrow releasing. And then Scorpio, the missing element here, which is the fixed water, is what you're really processing and what you're really feeling. The fears that need to be acknowledged, the deeper intuitive messages that you're meant to tap into and trust. And to know that the Scorpio energy is helping you work through and cleanse the intensity of the T-square. Now we also have support showing up in the water signs. Here we have this Mars, still retrograde at 17 degrees of Cancer. And Mars will be at 17 degrees of Cancer for all of February, as there will be a station direct February 23rd at 17 degrees. So Mars is moving very slowly through this single degree point, but has a beneficial trine to Saturn, now direct at 18 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is the emotional maturity of what Mars has been processing and understanding about himself, his internal world, uncomfortable feelings that he pushed away or repressed, memories from childhood, since Cancer rules where we come from. It connects to our first unconscious core memories. Cancer is your family, your upbringing, what you kept inside and withheld. It's your most personal, emotional experiences. Mars comes through and is triggering all that, requiring you to acknowledge things about yourself, about what you need. Cancer is where you tap into, well, what do I really need that resonates with what I'm feeling? It might not be rational. In fact, it often isn't. It isn't logical, but it's what you feel. And that's valid enough. And so this is where there could be something you're churning through, whether from the past or in the present. And the trine to this Saturn is supporting you in letting it go. Forgiving yourself, forgiving another, allowing a completion to happen, to not hold on to what is heavy or dense. This is supporting what you need to process and acknowledge in order to trust yourself more. And Saturn is offering guidance for doing so. This is also very private energy. It's very personal. Not only is Cancer internal and personal, but so is the Saturn in Pisces, because Pisces is the culmination of all your life experiences that only you would know. So it's quite subjective. The feelings that only you would know, the experiences, situations, themes, patterns. Saturn is helping to assist you through that. And I see it as this Mars can be your inner child, and Saturn is your inner parent, your mentor, your internal elder who's connected to what you were learning, understanding, perhaps clearing out. And you could feel that there's a shift with this full moon. an emotional shift here that is changing you at a core level. And maybe that's part of this discomfort of how it affects your sense of self in Leo, because your emotional body is changing as you clear out past experiences, energies, imprints, anything as well from your lineage, from either or paternal or maternal sides of your family, or both. There could be anger. Mars triggers the anger. It could be anger at what a parent did or didn't do, a sense of I wasn't safe, I couldn't trust myself, they did this, they did that, whatever the story might be. This is helping you to accept what is in order to move on. And that's part of the agenda here of Saturn in Pisces, is to help you close out energies that you're not meant to take forward, especially once Saturn enters Aries in late May 2025. So what do you need to release? And the energy will shift as this Mars stations direct and moves forward, and Mars will have another trine to Saturn in Pisces in April. So this is a very big full moon energy. And it's interesting because I feel like we've just been in that. We've just been in big energy, especially since Pluto was conjunct the Sun back on January 21st, which, as we've been discussing, started a new chapter in the world-changing developments. And it's all been unfolding. And of course, we had big energy of changes with the Aquarius new moon back on January 29th. So here we are 2 weeks later at the full moon that illuminates how it's affecting you, your sense of self, and again, what you can choose, what you can do that is for your best and highest sense of needs at this time. Both the Sun and the Moon are still interacting with this Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries. The Sun is in that sextile, the Moon is in a trine, but the energy is decreasing as they move further away and out of orb. So before the full moon, there could have been a healing understanding or an insight that brought comfort. Also, right before the Leo full moon, this Venus had an exact sextile to Pluto, which would have been empowering understandings around what you want, your desires, who you are now, self-esteem, confidence, self-worth. And this Venus is going to have more interactions with Pluto because of her upcoming retrograde that starts March 1st at nearly 11 degrees of Aries. So we'll certainly be talking about that as the Venus retrograde unfolds. Also of note is how Neptune is still conjunct the North Node, and this continues throughout February. This conjunction is signaling that we're in a time of grand transitions and endings, especially because it's at nearly the very end of the zodiac wheel, and Neptune is clearing out those old lessons, aligning you with your new spiritual growth, your higher understandings of what you've had to work through and empty out. This is the energy of creating a void because of what you've completed, learned, realized, worked through. And with the Neptune journey, this moves across multiple lifetimes of experiences. So it's much bigger than simply right now. It's the energy your soul has accumulated across lifetimes and timelines. And this conjunction to the North Node could connect you to that next level dream. A new dream that is whispering to you, that's coming in. A new dream that you want to bring into your reality. And it will happen when Saturn is then conjunct the North Node. And I believe that occurs in April. So trust what you're feeling and what you're sensing around these Pisces areas of your chart, because these are big world endings, big completions, big transitions of letting go, things that need to fall apart and be dismantled, that can be quite messy and uncertain. When Saturn gets into the equation, Saturn brings in the reality of what is changing, what is ending. Saturn is also going to have more of that. It's just a reality check of what needs to be dismantled and released. Saturn working with the North Node, especially in Pisces, is going to be the fall of leaders, those who have been in charge, those who are the mentors, the elders, the ones who are running the show at all levels of society. So this could be, someone in a university, someone at a job, someone at the running the local gym. Like it just depends what their choices have been. This Saturn is about ethics, morality, responsibility. In Pisces, it's karma and consequences, what needs to be taken care of and finished up, where there are parts of one's energy that haven't been, let's say it's not just balanced, where the energy needs to be completed in some way based on a whole cycle since Saturn entered Aries back in the mid 1990s. It was 1994 to 1996 when Saturn started this journey. And so again, this is a culmination of what has been lived. Saturn is about how you're living your life in the real world, what you're actively doing, managing, showing up, taking responsibility for. And so here comes Saturn saying, all right, you've got to take care of this, or you've got to complete this, you've got to do what's right. There's things here that are important that you can't procrastinate anymore. You can't push it off. And so this energy becomes stronger as Saturn approaches the conjunction to the North Node in Pisces, which will signal a real important checking in point on what needs to be done. Completed, finished. You get the gist. The next few months are going to continue to be pivotal. And then we start eclipse season. We start eclipse season. The first eclipse in March is March 14th, the Virgo lunar eclipse. But the eclipse energies begin with the Pisces new moon at the end of February. So the next lunar cycle begins eclipse energies. But honestly, this is going to feel like eclipse energies anyways. I mean, you could say this whole year is one ongoing eclipse. Truly, with all the changes and fast-moving energies of 2025, it can feel like every day is an eclipse. Do check out the 2025 Soul Growth Astrology program, because everything about March is big and important. And, it goes into Venus retrograde, Mars being direct, Mercury retrograde, the eclipses that are coming up, Neptune moving into Aries, the end of March. March 30th. There's just a lot going on in March. And I do these programs for you so that you have a heads up. You know, every program is different. Every year it's different because the astrology is different every year. So it gives you a roadmap for what is coming up for you and how to work with it. And I just really hope it assists you and helps you, because that is one of the beautiful gifts of astrology. We're not just moving about our lives blindly. We have an understanding of the themes, what's coming up ahead, challenges, opportunities, all kinds of energies as they present themselves. Thank you for joining me for this full moon reading. Thank you so much for sharing this in your groups where others will benefit from the heads up here that the Leo full moon is once again a shocking developments coming out to the public. A lot of drama. So note that this energy is going to be changing us with some very big frequencies. There's a sense here too that, you know, we're continuing to move into new realities and there's no going back to even what 2024 was about. It's like everything is just continuing to move ahead at this very fast lightning speed. And that's the Pluto energies interacting with the higher galactic codes and frequencies of Aquarius. As always, thank you so much for being here. And I will see you back here very soon.